I was eating some raw chicken sushi when out of the corner of my eye, I saw a furry and then another furry. So I got up to see what was going on and followed them, and then there was 10 furries and 20 furries and hundreds of furries, and I realized there was a whole furry convention at the mall I was at. But then I remembered I just didn't pay at the restaurant, and I heard them say on the intercom,
"To the man in the Grace Vita, the police would like a word with you."
And I was like, Jesus Christ, I need to get out of here. But these furries were everywhere. And I tried to sneak into this dark warehouse, but there was a rave going on inside, so I found a door to the outside. But it was raining and had no exit and no hope. Until I saw someone's left behind fursuit on the ground with some stains in it. But I had no other way to escape, so I put it on to try and blend in and re-enter the mall and saw so many horrifying things. And still couldn't find the exit and was getting actual heat strokes, so I decided to just turn myself in. So I went up to a cop and said, I'd like to turn myself in, and it was a damn Zootopia cop! So I just bolted out of that lawless wasteland and jumped over furries to find a fire exit and made it out and stripped down and threw my suit in the river! Today I woke up on Mr. Beast's 35-foot tall inflatable minion that I tried blowing up the night before with my lung, but my asthma kicked in and I passed out. But anyways, last week he was like,
"Hey Ben, can you make me the world's largest minion?"
But I hung up on him because he's not despicable enough. He's like the opposite. He's like philanthropicable. But he called back and I was like, he really is despicable. And I agreed to do it, and ever since then I have been making sure this minion is perfect. So I got the whole factory to line up and take turns blowing it up so I wouldn't be the only one passing out. And I tried to fashion together a giant suit to fit him, but I ran out of fabric and... But finally he was ready. The only problem was when I opened my trunk and tried to fit his body in it, which usually it can fit a few of those, he didn't fit. So I had to ship him in a truck, but I wanted to be along for the journey, so I snuck in while the back door was open and rode in that boy across America until we finally stopped, and I opened the door and... Hey.
Hey.
I got your minion.
Just put it over there.
Okay. Today I spent 9 hours painting Doja Cat, and it turned out so good that I decided to DM it to her. And she actually replied by saying, "It's terrific." And I was just in disbelief that she replied, so I screenshotted it as fast as I could and posted it on my story to show all my friends. But after she saw it, she DM'd me a picture of the front of my house and my birth certificate. And when I said, yes it is Doja Cat, I saw she mentioned me in her story, and when I looked, she had posted both of those images on her story, and I was like, Doja, why would you do that? And then she went live and was very angry at me, and the next thing I knew, there were people banging on my front door, and then one of them threw something through my window, and I had no clue what it is, so I slowly approached it. But when I got too close, it started to fill my room with gas, and I heard on her live stream as she said,
"Careful of the tear gas, we are getting gas."
So I grabbed what I could and ran out of my house and saw a flyer on the telephone pole for witness protection. And I called them and had to throw away my passport and credit cards, and now I'm flying to New Zealand to start a new life. Thanks, Doja Cat. Today I was flying over North Korea and trying to sleep even though there was a baby screaming behind me because it shat itself. But what really kept me awake was a song started playing that plays in like all those plane crash TikToks. And then the plane started shaking and the seatbelt sign turned off. And the plane was shaking so much that it spilled water all over my no-no square. And I thought, if this plane is going down, I'm not about to be found dead looking like I peed myself. So I snuck into the bathroom even though it said seatbelts on, and I grabbed some paper towel and tried to dry it off, but it was shaking so much that I just went back to my seat. And that's when I realized the music was coming from the stupid baby behind me's iPad, because it knocked its AirPods off from starting so aggressively. So I tried to lean between the seats to turn it off, but I couldn't reach it, so I called over the flight attendant and asked if we could just throw the child out of the airlock, but she didn't speak English and just gave me almonds. So I peacefully lost my mind for 7 hours, and when I landed I saw the most nasty little sharter and chased after it because it left its iPad behind, but when I touched it there was literal baby food on it, and I dropped it and cracked the screen. And then I picked it up again to check if it was working and saw the lock screen, and it jump scared me and I dropped it again. Whoops! I was scrolling through the deep web when I saw an ad for a GoFundMe to get the queen an air fryer before she dies. So I went to it and saw no one had donated. So I gave her $5 and went to bed. But when I woke up the next morning, I got an email that it was shut down by GoFundMe. And I knew the queen still needs an air fryer, so I packed my bags and went to the airport to book the next flight to London to bring her an air fryer that I bought for her. And after 10 hours, I landed and Ben was in the Big Ben. So I took the train to the Buckingham Palace where she lives. But when I got there, they had it gated off and I couldn't go in to see the queen. So I found another entrance with a flimsy little fence that I slid under, and then I popped over another fence, but that triggered an alarm. So I was running as fast as I could, and I happened to drop the air fryer, but I had to hide, so I managed to find the queen's quarters and snuck in. And I thought I was safe until... I woke up on some cliffs, on an island with nothing but a note on my arm that said,
Please, they won't let me air fry.
Elizabeth, I will save you. Today I went to go see Billie Eilish at Coachella, but before she came on, there was this dude wearing a big sparkly onesie who opened for her that kept staring at me, and I was thinking to myself, what's up, do you have a staring problem, buddy? But anyways, he did a little dancey dance thing, and Shrek was in the audience and seemed to love it. But his cameraman kept getting in the way and then turned to me, and the next thing I knew, rewind that. He put me on the big screen, and I freaked out and went behind the cameraman and started unplugging random cables from his camera, and it turned off the video on the screen. But anyways, then Billie Eilish came on and kept invading my personal space and staring at me, and I was like, do celebrities never get taught that staring is rude? Why are you yelling at me? But then she did her little dancey dance and left the stage, and I took a golf cart home from Coachella, and when I woke up the next morning, I checked my phone to see a DM from Billie herself asking if I was at her show with a winky face. And I replied, no, silly Billie, here's a restraining order, leave me alone. And I went back to bed. Today, my Mima told me that she bought an NFT, and I was like, Mima, you just asked me if Mark Zuckerberg was my girlfriend. How do you know what an NFT is? So anyways, I was using one of those head massagers when I got a knock at the door, and when I answered, no one was there except for a box with a towel in it and some noodles, with a note that said, NFT, noodly fun towel. And it wasn't even fun, it was soaking wet in some mysterious liquid, and I was about to put it away in my closet when I got the idea that I could actually make it into an NFT and get some use out of it. So I made some room and I took a picture of it and made it look all pretty, and I minted it on Bubble House and made it free for a limited time. And I emailed her back and told her to go claim one before they're all gone. And even her bingo club can get one, and even you. And we can play bingo together on Bubble House with my Mima and her bingo group.
And this time, we're gonna get funky. Funky.
Every day I bike past this fenced-off neighborhood near me that's radioactive from a nuclear meltdown. But today I decided to explore it, so I went through a gap in the fence, and after walking for about 10 minutes, I got to this mysterious door in the middle of nowhere, so I did a little knock and let myself in and closed it behind me to be polite to the radiation. Anyways, I went down the stairs and saw, some interesting artifacts that I was not exactly a fan of. And I continued through the bunker and found a very inviting door that made me feel super safe, which led to more stairs that had my knees cracking like Rice Krispies. Anyways, I eventually got to this tunnel and some doors at the end of it that said danger, do not enter. But I went in because my middle name is Danger. Just kidding, it's Emil. And after I went through the door, it closed behind me and I tried everything but couldn't open it up because it was locked. So I decided to look around and see what my grave location was gonna look like, thinking maybe it's a movie theater or a game room. And I turned the lights on to see that it was an actual nuclear missile silo where they held the nukes. And it went 100 feet down, and now this is where I live, I guess. And my phone is now on 1% uploading this TikTok. So if you see this, that's the last time you're gonna... I wanted to go to Chili's today, but it was burning down, so instead, I went to go get sushi. But it was one of those places where it comes on a conveyor belt and you can take what you want, except for this piece of shrimp that refused to cooperate and wouldn't release. But it's okay, because they also have a screen you can order from, so I ordered myself some crispy rice, and it zoomed by faster than I could say, no, officer, I had nothing to do with the Chili's burning down. Anyways, then I saw these nasty cubes that look like Minecraft gravel, and I lost my appetite. So I put all the plates down the chute since I was done with them, when I wondered, what's actually in there? And it said, please don't insert hands or objects, but what did I do? Hit record on my phone and insert it into the slot, which was really smart because then I dropped it down into the chute and had to call over a waiter in shame, and he told me that non-plate items go out the garbage chute around back. So I went down this creepy corridor and finally found it, and when I grabbed my phone and sat down to check what footage I had recorded, I saw... Today, I DoorDashed some cooked goldfish from PetSmart because I was really hungry and they were only $3. So I placed the order and walked over to PetSmart to pick it up. But when I got there, I walked in and found the food pickup section and saw all the soon-to-be sushi swimming around in their little tanks that were right next to the not-so-swimming sushi. And that's when I realized maybe pet store food isn't the best move. But I was still super hungry, so I asked an employee if they have anything else to eat, but she told me if I want to act picky, they have rats for sale. So I opened up the rat fridge and I couldn't do it. So I ended up buying some bugs for like $2, which was such a great and amazing deal. And when I got home, I was so hungry that I ripped open the bag of bugs and just told myself that this little grasshopper in my chopsticks is a Cheeto. So I popped it in my mouth and I felt movement. And I spat it out and it jumped out of the bowl! And I panicked and ran to the toilet, and for the next 3 hours, I vomited up my insides. Today, I threw away all my electronics so I could join the Amish and live a simple life. But after about 10 minutes, I got really bored of harvesting wheat and apples and wanted to watch a good old YouTube video. But I didn't have any devices to watch YouTube on, so I obviously walked over to the YouTube headquarters. And when I got there, I managed to walk right in and I found an empty room with a TV in it so I could watch a few videos from my personal collection. Anyways, after I had cured my boredom, I left the room and raided the YouTube fruit counter and grabbed an orange, an apple, and a DVD copy of the videos I watched. But when I finally got home, I realized I can't play this because I don't have a record player. But I looked around my room and saw an old radio speaker thing and popped the CD in it just so I could listen to the audio and imagine the video in my mind. But when it started playing, it sounded like it was coming from outside my house, and that's when I realized I had it set to broadcast. And I ran outside to see every radio in the vicinity was playing. Today, I snuck an AirTag tracking device into an Ed Sheeran concert so that I could somehow stick it onto him to track him down, because that's for the FBI to know. Anyways, randomly BTS opened for him, and then Eddie was about to come on stage, so I had the genius idea to use an extra mask and fashion it into a slingshot so that when he performed, I walked up to the front of the stage, locked onto my target, and bam! It flew through the air. And now I know there's no way of it sticking to him. However, they have to pack up the stage, and it's probably gonna travel with him. So anyways, I saw Doja Cat and Lil Nas X, and then left the concert and went home. Then the next morning, I was getting a reading on the AirTag finder, and it said that he was in Las Vegas. So I flew to Las Vegas, and when I got to the airport, I thought I had already found him, but the thing is, I had a little bit of spicy grape juice on the plane, so I stumbled over to the man and shouted, "Ed!" And it was just a random man. So, yeah. Today I was in my car when I saw that the Amish were doing a pop-up shop, so obviously I had to go check it out because I don't believe that they're real. And when I pulled up to Simply Amish, I put my mask on because I don't want to give the entire colony the plague or something. And when I walked in, the employee was on a computer, and I was like, that's strange, not even supposed to have electricity. But I was walking around, and at first it seemed like a really expensive furniture store, and I was like, damn, these Amish are gonna be ballin'. But then I came across this door that was half open, which led to this scary basement that had all of these artifacts and paintings of Jesus, and then randomly a Rick and Morty Chia Pet, and some cards that I don't think are Amish appropriate, and then a Queen's Gambit board game, which... wouldn't that just be chess? Anyways, I felt the need to buy something so the Amish don't steal my organs. I got one of those popping toys where you put it on the ground and... Anyways, when I paid and got the bag, I noticed they slipped a key in it with a note saying, need escape? And then some coordinates, which I looked up online and found out they lead to their colony. So I think they tried recruiting me and let me know if I should drive up there and join them. I was trying to sell my kidneys on the black market when I got an ad for Shein Eats, and apparently they sell food now. So I ordered some Mexican food because I was really hungry. But when it arrived, it came in what looked like a reused tissue box, and it had a fragile sticker, but it was looking more like a burrito bowl at this point. Anyways, I compared it to the picture in the ad, and it looked nothing like it. But the worst part is there was corn in it, and I'm allergic. And I was beyond mad, so I looked at the shipping label, and it said it was shipped all the way from China. So you know what I did? I was on that next flight to China, and after I boarded the plane next to the world's biggest Facebook mom with this suitcase, the food was actually pretty good, a little bit better than Shein's. But anyways, when I landed, I remembered it was the Olympics here in Beijing, so I decided to go to that instead of getting revenge on Shein. Happy Valentine's Day. I was cleaning my room today when I found out that I just hit 10 million followers. And to celebrate, I wanted to give each and every one of you $1. Now, I don't have $10 million, but you know who does? The bank. So I went over there and had the idea to R to the O to the B it, but quickly realized that I get too anxious simply going to Starbucks and ordering for myself without nearly peeing my pants. So walking into a bank to commit a crime is kind of out of the question. So my second idea was to make an Ed Sheeran disguise that is so convincing it looks like a deep fake. So I taped it to my face, and I used this simple hack that works on any ATM machines, where you can type in the number of the address where the ATM is, like 900 for example, and then it'll think it's undergoing maintenance and spit out all its cash. So I tried it, and boom, I suddenly had $20,000. And I stopped at each and every ATM, punching the code, getting racks, when I remembered they have security cameras, and even though I was disguised as Ed Sheeran, I wanted to be safe, so I gently disconnected the camera from the ATM and put it on the ground. And for the rest of the night, I'd never felt more alive, single-handedly taking down the greedy banks to steal from customers every single day. I was calculated, unstoppable, careful. And I did it all right under the police's noses. It became addicting. Every single ATM was like a new hit. And the money? Oh, it was endless. Ed Sheeran had to go on live TV to say he wasn't the thief. And I had gotten away with it. Oh, wait, just kidding. They actually got me. Well, at least I still have money for bail, and I still have 10 million of you guys. Wait. Today I made a New Year's resolution to stop filling up my gas car with diesel just because it's cheaper. Because last time I did that, it started smoking when I was driving back from the gas station and then eventually burst into flames. So I've actually failed my first New Year's resolution because now I have no car to fill up with gas and it's 40 grand to repair the garage from fire damage. But I can't go to the bank because I don't have a car, so I walked in minus 40-degree weather to the car store and bought an electric car with all the money I made selling human organs off the black market. And it's really cute and it looks like a ladybug, and I drove it home and found out I can plug it in with the same charger as my phone. So I grabbed my dog and we went on a little mini road trip for about 47 minutes when my car died, because apparently you can't charge a car with a phone charger. So now I'm stranded in the middle of nowhere, genuinely considering eating my Cheez-Its that I brought as a snack while I wait for the tow truck to come, obviously. I'm not naming any names, but it'd be a lot of people. A lot of people getting pushed if I was in red light, green light with them. It'd be my favorite thing to do right now is guess people's passwords of their social media accounts, because I've actually managed to successfully hack a few accounts. And I also enjoy changing some captions around without people noticing and tagging myself so people think me and Zendaya are besties. So today I managed to log into Shawn Mendes's account, and then I decided to DM some people some pickup lines like Olivia Rodrigo, which might have made me responsible for him and Camila Cabello breaking up. But anyways, today I wanted to get into Instagram's Instagram account to, I don't know, post a picture of myself or something. And then I remember the guy who owns Instagram is Mark Zuckerberg. So when I tried logging in with a bunch of different passwords and none were working, I realized it kept asking me if I'm not a robot. And since old Marky Poo is a robot, I left it blank and then boom, I was in, baby. And I was stressed about what I should post to like 400 million people, so I just chose this random picture of me at the beach, and now 500,000 people have liked it. So thank you, Mark Zuckerberg, for the validation. Do you ever wonder how it went down for the first person to ever get their ear pierced? Like, how did that happen? Was it just like, Booga!
You like a new piercing? Look, we're matching.
What the hell is a piercing? This is a stabbing. No, bitch, you god, this is gonna be the next biggest thing in Pangea. Okay, sure, but why my ear? Why not literally any other part of my body? Ooga booga, what do you do? Oh my god, that's literally worse.
Wait, do you want one too?
What? So I bought this doggy camera to spy on my little worm creature, and when I was checking the cameras today, I saw that when she comes through her doggy door, a literal rat has been following her in. And not only that, I caught them canoodling, and I had to shoot a tree to her to break them up so I could go rescue her from Remy the rat in my house not paying rent. Anyways, I was horrified, and ever since, she's been giving me, rabies vibes, the way she's been kind of foaming at the mouth and trying to bite me. So I took her to a discount vet clinic at the back of a dollar store, and they weighed her little fat butt and then put her on the table. And I told them I think she has rabies, and that's when they pulled out 3 humongous needles. And then they took her into the back rooms, and I'm not an anti-vax or anything, but she was screaming so much I was like, bring my girl back. And I grabbed her and brought her home, and now she just has a little bit of rabies, but it's fine because she just likes to give me love bites. I woke up today and decided to go to Claire's to get my ear pierced because I saw they're doing it free if you give them your organs. So I walked in and I picked my piercing and then signed away the rights to my kidneys. And then they marked the ear that I wanted pierced, and then boom, they legally stabbed me. But anyways, I went home and I was so excited to take off my mask and see it, and they had pierced the mask string into my ear hole. And I started freaking out, of course, and needed to get it off. So I tried finding pliers or something, but I grabbed scissors and used them to cut the mask off so it doesn't rip my ear off. And then I looked in the mirror and I thought maybe it looks cool, but it didn't. So I grabbed my computer to try and find the Claire's customer service line so I can sue them. But they closed at 6 p.m. and it was 6:30. So I went to bed and cried myself to sleep, and when I woke up, oh, it was infected. So now I think my ear is gonna fall off in 2 to 5 business days, so please let me know what music I should listen to before I have 1 ear left. I was enjoying some banana on the cob and scrolling through TikTok when I saw someone playing this Mario Kart in real life game. So I took my friend's credit card and ordered it. But when it came in the mail and I actually got to open it up and play it, the game was about as fun as listening to Ed Sheeran out of your own free will. So not fun at all. But you know what? It was okay, because I bought it for the only purpose of seeing if I could take it through a drive-thru and ordering something. So I strapped my credit card to it and a walkie-talkie so that I can order through the microphone. And I taped it to Luigi really good and then drove all the way over to Popeyes. And it was time to release Luigi and see if I could succeed successfully order a fry. I set everything up, and then just like that, the little Italian was off. But as he drove up to the microphone, I didn't think they could see him, so at first I did some donuts to get their attention. And then as I was spinning him around, they were like... And I was about to tell them my order when I saw there was a car coming into the drive-thru. I panicked and grabbed my Switch to try and drive away, but it said it was disconnected, so I ran over to the drive-thru and our favorite plumber Luigi was killed by a Mitsubishi. Anyways, the funeral is on Monday. Please comment your condolences if you would like to attend. I went to Universal Studios today, but when I got to security, I remembered I had a can of spray cheese in my bag, which you can't bring into parks or anything because it's an aerosol, and they're probably scared that I'm gonna, I don't know, like burn down the Minions ride. So I took my bag and went into the alleyway and wrapped it in the label for my Febreze can that I use as deodorant from time to time. And guess what, baby? They never found it when they searched my bag. So anyways, I went on the Minions ride, and as much as I would have loved to set it on fire until it's nothing but smoldering ruins, I had to settle for beating up the Minion in the gift shop. But anyways, after the ride, I realized I was pretty hungry, and I wasn't gonna spend $20 on Harry Potter butterbeer when I can just put butter in my beer myself. So I snuck into the employees only area to eat my spray cheese. And I thought I grabbed the right can when I sprayed it in my mouth, but I accidentally grabbed the Febreze and basically blinded myself. So I asked Siri, call poison control. And she was like,
calling animal control.
And I was like, what? No! And animal control was like, hello, yes, what are you reporting? And I was like, my eyes are burning. And they said, your ass is burning? We recommend Pepto-Bismol. And I knew they weren't gonna help, so I hung up and I made the hard decision to flush my eyes with... Today I went to the fair so I could try and go on that tilt-a-whirl ride that was about to collapse in this TikTok that I saw. But when we were standing in line for it, I noticed some sparks fly as it flew by, and a literal screw had been sharded out. And I was like, well, the Juice WRLD concert's gonna be really good after this. Anyways, we got on and found our seats and put the thing on, and I don't know what they did, but they had cranked that speed up to the max. And you know what? It surprisingly didn't fall apart, but instead I just passed out like a little infant that can't stay awake. Anyways, I got off and was feeling kind of hungry, and I saw the cotton candy booth, so I went over to it, and they gave some to us for free because they were so nice. And I was enjoying my cotton candy when my friends dragged me onto this swingy thingy, so I reluctantly gave the dude my ticket and found my seat. And once it started moving, I realized that cotton candy and motion sickness is a terrible mix. They were swinging our butts around this thing like no tomorrow, baby, because I threw up, and it sprayed on a worker, and I'm never allowed back. I was joining some random Zoom calls today so I could make some friends, but after accidentally joining an Amish colony Zoom, I accidentally joined this Zoom call with this guy in it, and I was like, who's that? Until I realized I had joined a call with Dr. Fauci, the chief medical advisor to the president. And then I looked in the mirror to make sure I didn't look like a cockroach, and then as soon as I looked presentable, I grabbed my laptop and brought it out to the living room, and then I joined the call and I was like, how are you, Dr. Fauci? And he said,
I'm good, Ben. Nice to be with you. How you doing?
And then I froze and tried to think of like a question about COVID or something. And that's when I remembered my uncle texting me out of the blue saying that there's pee in the vaccine. So I was like, let me set the record straight. So I asked him,
the vaccine looks like it's just a few drops of water, and I feel like a lot of people don't really know what's actually going on in there.
What vaccine did you get, Ben?
I'm Moderna.
I got Moderna too. So
okay.
So when you and I got injected, what happened? It went into the muscle. The body recognizes the protein of that virus and neutralizes it.
I feel like that was like a crash course and a PhD in biology, but it all made sense. I figured it out.
Well, you heard it from the White House and Benoftheweek. The vaccines are safe. Go get it, please. Today, I made a DIY North Korean driver's license by taking a picture with my iPad, and then I Googled North Korean IDs and slapped my face on it. And I made it look all pretty by crossing this guy's name off and giving myself a fake name. But I didn't do this so I can get into a club or anything. I did it so that every day I can print a new one and change my birthday to today's date so I can get free stuff every single day, like a Starbucks drink or make people be nice to me. Anyways, I first tested my ID at Olive Garden, and the waiter got the whole restaurant singing happy birthday to me. But more importantly, I got a big old cannoli for free, baby. Anyways, next I went to Cheesecake Factory, and I showed my waitress my ID, thinking she would give me, I don't know, a cheesecake slice at Cheesecake Factory. But when she came to the table, she had all these cheesecake slices, and what did she give me? A bowl of berries. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess. But then she dropped the bill off and charged me $8 for the strawberries, when all I wanted was a slice of cheesecake for free because they're like $10. So basically fake North Korean IDs don't work at Cheesecake Factory. I was watching my comfort movie Pitch Perfect on HBO Max for the 7th time today because it's the only thing that makes me feel alive. But then as I was watching it, I got the idea that since I'm a talentless blob of bones and skin, I should learn how to play the cups. So I grabbed a bunch of wine glasses to spice it up, and I invented the glass song, and I spent days studying Pitch Perfect on HBO Max, perfecting my talent so that I could get so good so I could perform for the world to see. So I started to print out flyers, and then I went to the first stop of my Glass Song World Tour in Paris. And when I got there, I stuck flyers everywhere to really get the word out about my show. But then as I was doing my sound checks on the day of my performance, I got a little too carried away and... So anyways, I'm just gonna stick to watching Pitch Perfect on HBO Max, and you should too. Today I accidentally burned out my house because I was boiling Listerine and Red Bull to make delicious tea when I saw a wasp had waltzed into my house. And I'm extremely allergic, so I grabbed a container to try and capture him so I can send him back to hell. And I got him, but then I realized if I try and get the lid on, he's gonna fly out and sting me, and then I will end up in hell and he will haunt me forever. So I dropped it and I ran and grabbed a piece of paper, and then I put it back on and slid it under. And I actually managed to pull out the paper, and I had successfully abducted him. So I put him on a plate and microwaved him until he lit up. Just kidding. I realized I'll definitely go to hell if I do that, so I let him outside and carefully put him down and released the hatches, and he kicked it away. But then he got up and chased me inside, and I closed the door and I thought I was safe. And oh, I forgot to turn the stove burner off, and I went to Walmart today to buy some Ed Sheeran merch, aka cabbage, because that's probably what he smells like. But when I grabbed my cabbage and went to go pay, I didn't realize I was in the makeup section trying to pay for a cabbage, and they didn't know how to ring up my cabbage by any freaking ways. The cashier girlie dropped my cabbage, and I had to pick it up off the ground, and it was kind of musty looking. But regardless, I left the store and walked home with it, and I was about to start munching on it when it slipped out of my hands and dropped again, and my little cabbage baby started rolling down the hill, and I eventually caught up to it, and it looked beat up. But I picked it up and took a crunchy cabbage bite and decided it would be a good movie snack. So I brought my cabbage to the movie theater, and it was all fun until I remembered I was watching The Quiet Place. And you know what wasn't a quiet place? My insides after eating Walmart cabbage off the ground. It was brewing like kombucha mixed with dynamite in my stomach, and I had to leave and go home because it was dead silent in the theater and everyone heard my stomach rumbling up. I like to collect mold off of my old moldy bread and put it in a baggie that I keep in my pocket, so whenever I'm out and about at an overpriced restaurant getting an overpriced $15 acai bowl, I can order one and then eat the whole thing, and then once I'm done, I take out my mold babies and pop one in so I can take it to the register and go full Karen mode and show them the mold, and then boom, baby! Refund. I've done this in the past with dead flies at Olive Garden, but I like having bread in my pocket instead of dead decaying flies. Anyways, I wanted to give my mom some makeup, so I tried it at Sephora by putting some mold in the makeup, and then I brought the sample to the manager, and I got a free one. And then I sanitized my hands to get the mold off, of course. Anyways, after Sephora, I really wanted some tortilla chips, so I grabbed a bag, opened it up, popped some mold in, and then boom! I took it to the cashier, and I got a refund, baby. And then when I got home, I took a bite and forgot to take the mold out. Boom, baby, mold poisoning.
Oh no, I hope I don't fall.